Hey to all you fellow rock lovers out there, are you ready to start another rock tumbling video? I know I am. Well, let's have some fun with this little batch here. These rocks you see before you are what I'm going to call Kendra's reject rocks. That's right, Kendra's reject rocks. If you watch my channel, you know we've been doing a lot of rock cutting. I have a series called The Great Kendra Scott Rock Off. Well, it's just for fun. We're having a blast doing it. We take rocks that we find and we cut them in half and compare them. So she likes to keep her cut rocks and tumble them and do things with them, but she's much more, let's just say, picky when it comes to rocks. So she was going through her cut rocks from the Rock Off series and getting rid of a bunch of them. It's just telling me they're junk, they're throwaways. I looked at these rocks and I thought, you know, those still might tumble nicely. Maybe she's right. Some of these could just be junk rocks, but I suspect a couple of these are going to be really pretty once we get them tumbled smoothly and polished brightly. Let's find out. I'm going to go ahead and get all these Kendra reject rocks in the barrel, and I'm going to get them rolling in the 6090 coarse grit. I'm going to keep them rolling until these are nice and smooth, and once they're nice and smooth, I'm going to bring these back in here and show you what they look like before moving them onto the polishing stages. Well, check it out. Kendra's reject rocks are finally finished with the coarse stage, and they're smoother. But when you look at them, you can understand why many of these were rejects. However, I still think once these are polished, we're gonna have some beautiful rocks in here. Kendra's gonna regret rejecting some of these. Actually, I have looked at them and, well, they'll be okay, but she didn't really throw away any treasures here. Although some of them, like this one, as you can see, is a little sagenitic. That's kind of cool. So I believe that once these all get polished up, we're still gonna have a couple of good looking rocks in here, right? Maybe some rhyolite there. Yeah, I think that's just rhyolite, but this stuff generally shines up well. So it's not like I'm gonna be able to like make her feel bad about this batch because she rejected them. However, I'm still going to try to get them as beautiful as I can with the vibratory tumbler, which is where these are headed next. I'm gonna go ahead and get these in the vibratory tumbler. I'll go for about 10 days, use 4 different grits, and once I'm finished with that final 14,000 grit aluminum oxide polish, I'll bring these back in here and I'll show you what they look like. Kendra's reject rocks are finally finished with the polishing. Check it out. Did she throw away some winners? I don't know. Let's take a closer look at these. This is one of those pieces of rhyolite, and like I said, it does take a pretty good shine. There's sort of a metallic finish in some areas. It has a decent enough pattern, right? But beyond that, it's just, you know, so-so. Here's a crazy looking agate. You can tell it's agate-y. You see some depth in there. I don't know, maybe it was sagenitic, maybe? Maybe we're just catching those little tubes at the right angle? Don't know. Can't really tell much. As you can see, I still have some of that aluminum oxide down in there. I should have put this in the ultrasonic cleaner, but yeah, that's okay. Otherwise, yeah, this is just, you know, another so-so rock. Now here's one of those common West Texas sort of golden yellow mossy agates. We do find a lot of these out there. This one, though, as you can see, has little pits in it, so, you know, as little mossy agates go, this one's not that great, right? So this one is obviously agate-y, right? You can see that it has some translucency to it. Would it have been a good rock to keep, or was it a throwaway? It has a little blue in it. I can just see when the light hits it right. Or maybe that's my imagination. Now that I'm looking at it again, I don't think it's blue. It's more of maybe a light gray in there, perhaps. So is this a decent rock? I'm on the fence. Now these two obviously went together at one time, and I think we might have our first rock that I would consider a good rock, and one that probably shouldn't have been thrown away. Let me see if I can hold this up. It's so slick. Here you can see it's got lots of agate-y detail in it. I think that's very pretty. Little druzy pocket there. This side's not great. You see it's got that coarseness. You can see it there in the reflection. But even with that, very pretty detail in this rock. Oh, sure, look at that. So this one, I think, was a mistake for Kendra to reject. I hope you agree. Here's the other half of that big rhyolite chunk. Very similar to the first one I showed you. It's okay, right? This is not a bad rock. I wouldn't have thrown it out. I like the way this rhyolite tumbles and shines. Here's one that has something to offer. Now, obviously on this side, you can see it's coarse. But over here, check out that side. Look at the detail. Oh, cool. Pretty stuff. Definitely an agate rock, even though it's coarse. I still like this one. I'd probably be happy keeping this one. I assume these went together at some point. They're very dark. I'm not sure what they are. Oh, actually, they're agate. See, you can tell if you look closely. Sure, right in there. Actually, I think I had the other half of this one earlier. So this must be the oddball here. Or it was a rock that was cut a couple of times. Kendra was known to do that. After the contest, when we do our rock off, after I'd filmed the results, she'd like to take her rocks and then cut them again. That's probably what happened with this one. But as you can see, it's clearly a dark agate. I mean, obviously it took a great shine. Look at that reflection in there. Wow. That's really sharp. So I probably would have hung on to this one as well. As you can see, this one broke apart quite a bit. So it wasn't a very stable rock. I think I understand why she threw this one out. However, if you look closely, you can see it has chalcedony in there. Look at that, sure. Oh yeah, that's kind of pretty. It's a very rough rock, but otherwise, I like the colors and pattern. Now this oddly shaped rock is another agate. Look at this. That's not out of focus. That's just the depth of what you see within that chalcedony. It's blurred for that reason. I think that's beautiful, actually. I really like that. I think this was a winner. Now this little rock is, well, like a bicycle seat. Look at some of the detail that it has. You see there's that little white sort of tubular thing right there. But what I just noticed as I was picking this thing up to show you is it looks like it had, look at that banding. That might be waterline banding. You see that in there when I rotate it? Just in there. You don't really see it here, but as I rotate it, it comes in. So heck, that's a nice little banded agate right there. This one's a very rough tumble, as you can see on this side, but check out this little side here with the banding and chalcedony right there at the very end. I think that's worthy of a tumble and polish. Oh, sure. I can live with this right side if I can have this left side. Here's another agate with some depth to it, as you can see. But check out this side over here. Oh, I think that's beautiful. Mossiness in there. Look at that little lake of chalcedony. That's a pretty rock. That's definitely a keeper as far as I'm concerned. And I'll end on these two rocks, which appear to have gone together at one time. This is the one that's sagenitic, especially this side here. Check this out. I'm a huge fan of sagenite and these sagenitic rocks. There are a bunch of them out there. Look at that, those little, beautiful little sprays in there. Can I capture that? Let's see, sorta. Of course, it has a lot of the coarse stuff on it as well. It's not a great rock otherwise, but I always take sagenitic rocks, so I would have definitely hung on to this one. Thank you all so much for watching. I think Kendra was probably pretty wise throwing out some of these. However, a couple of them I would have kept. As you can see, they turned into really pretty tumbled rocks. I mean, not the greatest, right? We've seen better, but certainly not rejects either. I hope you agree. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like these types of rock tumbling videos, be sure and check my playlist because I got lots more of these now for you to see. Once again, thanks for watching.